Here goes nothing. Alright. What's up, YouTube? Let me just start this off by saying this is my first time. I've never made a video before. It's kind of weird. Still figuring it out. It's not scripted. Obviously. It's already starting off. You can probably tell that. I think it's kind of, it's more genuine if I'm not trying to follow a script. If I had written everything down, I think I would have trouble focusing because I'd be trying to hit all the bullet points that I brainstormed beforehand. I'm going to try to figure out a better way to approach this, but I think for the first couple videos I can just ramble and I should be able to get through it. So, that being said, I also do not know anything about video editing. I do not know how to do the fancy intro or make the funny little ad-libs and shit pop up on the screen, so bear with me. It's a learning experience. I got some friends that are helping me out, but if you are watching this and you know how to do that kind of stuff and you can point me in the right direction, drop me some links and comments, and we'll ride this out together. So for the first video or two or three, I don't know yet, this is like the intro. So I've been thinking about doing this for a couple years now. Big fan of YouTube. I've had an account for years now. A couple years back, I discovered, when the reaction thing very first started, I stumbled onto some reactors, and I was pretty captivated by the fact that you could make reaction videos, and people like to watch that shit. They're literally watching you watch something else, but you can. I think the cool thing about it is like it's a genuine, like when you like if you it's really your first time. Like it doesn't have to be your first time though either. People like to hear your thoughts. So I'm thinking that's kind of the general direction I want to take the channel to get started, because to be honest, I have 1,000 different ideas on content that I could make, and I'll get into that in a second. But I can't decide where exactly I want to start, and I don't know what would be a good niche for me to dive into. So I'm thinking I'll start with that. So on that note, I'll just talk a little bit about me, what I'm interested in, things that are going to be possible content in the future. So I'm 31 years old. I was born and raised in a small town in Ohio, Lima. A lot of people don't know shit about Ohio. They're like, what the hell is even there? I like Ohio, so if you're a hater, then hate away. It's got 4 seasons. I like the snow. It's beautiful in the spring and the fall. Summers are not overbearingly hot, but like there's plenty to do if you're an outdoorsy kind of person. So, I was in the Navy and traveled all around, and I always missed Ohio. So, on that note, I pretty much lived in the same town most of my life. When I was a kid, we lived about 40 minutes south of Lima, in another small town. And then we moved around a little bit, but we landed in Lima, and that's where I always say I was born and raised. I went to high school there. I played sports. I was a football track guy. I played a season of basketball, and I wrestled for a season. After high school, so I actually split my high school into two. There was kind of a tragic accident when I was a freshman. I lost some friends. I'm sure I'll end up touching on that in a future video. But my junior and senior year of high school, I actually went to a vocational school. I studied carpentry. So when I introduce myself to people, I know this is jumping around a lot. I'm pretty sure I have like adult ADD, so bear with me. I'm trying to work through that. But anyways, when I introduce myself to people, I say I'm like a jack of all trades, but I'm also like a jack of all interests. So I went to school for carpentry. I graduated with a dual diploma. I had a carpentry certificate, whatever you want to call it. I actually joined the Carpenters Union for a while, but right after high school, I went to school for automotive because I thought I wanted to build fucking muscle cars and stuff. I'm a big car guy. It's one of my interests. But so I'm a pretty accomplished mechanic. I'm a pretty accomplished carpenter. I built scaffolds for a while. I was a scaffold inspector for a while. And then, so college didn't pan out. I came home. That's when I did the scaffolding stuff. After the scaffolding stuff, I joined the Navy. I did 6 years in the Navy as a nuclear mechanic. That's another topic we can talk about. I could talk about the Navy for days. It's mixed emotions for me. Overall, I think it was a great experience, but there was a lot of toxicity involved. I struggled a lot when I was in with mental health, and it's affected me to this day. I'm actually wearing my ship jacket. It's the only memorabilia that I ever bought, I think, that I actually liked. So, yeah, I was on the Roosevelt for 5 years. So anyways, after that, I've worked a few jobs here and there. I got out of the Navy about 4 years ago. I kind of bounced around. My current wife was also in the Navy. She did 10 years. She got medically retired. Again, future content. If you're curious, ask. I'll make some videos detailing stuff. A lot of people say that I have a very interesting life. I've been through a lot of shit. I've been married 3 times. I've lived on both coasts. I've done 3 deployments around the world. So, just a lot to talk about, which is why I'm having trouble deciding what kind of content I want to make. So I could talk about for days about just my life experiences. I could do relationship advice. I could be a fucking Dr. Phil of YouTube. I could be the mental health guy when it comes to military related stuff. I went through a lot. I helped friends through a lot. I stay in contact with hundreds of friends of mine that are veterans. I reach out to them constantly. Like every day I pick a few people that I haven't heard from in a while and I check up on them. If you have mental health issues, if you're a vet or not a vet, reach out. I love to talk. I'm a very strong advocate for if you got some shit going on and you feel like you're alone, reach out to me. I've been there, and I've also been the guy that reached out to someone that felt like they had no one and they were at the end of their rope. And I can say that it's extremely helpful. It's humbling. It's good for someone when you reach out and like out of the blue someone checks up on you and you feel like you have no one. It's incredibly like mood boosting. It'll pick you up out of a dark place. So I try to be that for people if I can be. But again, if you just want to chat, you want to chop it up, you want to talk about literally anything, hit me up. I'm trying to get my social media back. I know that sounds weird. I made this channel like 2 or 3 days ago with the intent of making some content a couple days ago, but I made a Instagram account to go along with the channel so that, people could like, follow, comment, shoot me DMs and stuff there. And it's linked to my Facebook, and I like made the account, didn't follow anybody, and no one's following me. I didn't make any posts. I just posted a profile picture, and then I like went to check my Facebook Messenger because I was talking to some friends on there, and it said that my account was disabled. So I was like, what the hell is that? So I tried to log back in, then it said the Instagram account associated with my Facebook was disabled. So I went there, and apparently Meta thinks that I'm a bot, so they disabled my shit because I made a new account and didn't do anything with it immediately. I don't know. It's weird, but I contested it. It's in review. I'm sure I'll get my shit back. So stand by for that. I also still have to figure out how to throw up the cool little clicky links and stuff so you can get my socials. So until then, I'm not going to put anything in the description because you can't follow an account that's been deactivated anyways, but once it gets fixed, I will go in and add that shit in there. Okay. So that being said, I'm thinking initially the content that I want to go with is going to be reaction type stuff. So a little bit about that. Like I said, jack of all interests, jack of all trades. We touched on the mechanic stuff, the carpenter stuff. Since I was a kid, I was obsessed with like hip hop, rap. I know I probably don't look like it, like Irish dude, big beard, kind of husky, right? I thought I was going to be a rapper when I was a kid, for sure. A friend of mine and I, a pretty close friend, he's still pursuing the rap thing. I'll give him a shout out in a future video. I'm going to try to collab with him, I think. So, it all started in like 6th grade, honestly. I'm throwing a little anecdote here. This is when, you got to understand, this is when 50, Eminem, Game, G Unit, like all that shit was just fucking popping. It was like it blew up out of nowhere, right? DMX is on top. So around this time, we're writing rhymes down and we're doing talent shows at school where we're rapping our own original raps and all this stuff. And it was like an obsession. And I was obsessed with Eminem, not because he's a white rapper, but just because he was making waves. He was doing shit that, like, the shock value stuff. Like, so there was other rappers that did shock value shit, but he was the first one that hit mainstream, right? And I didn't know about any of the other shit, right? So hearing his stuff when you're 11, 12, 13 years old was like, and my dad was kind of like Nazi against it. He was like, nah, you ain't listening to that shit at all, right? So, and I know this is going to go over a lot of these kids' heads because we went through a really fast technological advancement phase, right? Where we went from like old ass giant brick phones with buttons and shit to like flip phones to like slide phones, and then you got touchscreen phones and shit. Like that technology wave was so fast. So someone that's like 2 or 3 years younger than I am missed certain parts of the technology phase. So for me, when I heard songs on the radio, because we didn't have Pandora, there was no internet and shit when I was a kid, I had this little silver boom box with a big antenna, and I remember positioning that bitch in the house where I had like the clearest signal with no fuzz, and I had a little cassette tape, and it had like a button you push and a door folded out and you put a tape in there, and I would like listen for my favorite songs on the radio, my favorite rap songs, 50 Cent's In the Club and Candy Shop, and then like a lot of the Eminem shit from the Eminem Show or the Marshall Mathers. Well, I don't think they played Marshall Mathers LP, but I got my hands on it. But the point is, I would wait and listen, and I would grab the phone, the house phone before cell phones, and I would dial up the radio station and I would request an Eminem song. When they would play that shit, I'd be waiting by the boombox and I'd hit the record button, and that way I could have it on my tape. And I had this mixtape that was like 8 hours long. It was like 4 hours on each side, and it was just full of rap and hip hop. And me and my boy, I'll throw his first name out there. His name's Isaiah. Me and Isaiah used to just like sit and listen, and we would write down every lyric to every song that we loved, and we would bump that shit, and we would, recite it. We knew every snare hit, like back to front. We knew every song. And we used to write our own shit. And then, eventually it kind of faded out. But I can remember specifically my mom had this friend that lived next door, and she was an Eminem fan. She's probably in her mid-30s at this time. And she waited in line and bought the Eminem Show when it came out, like the deluxe version, right? And it was unedited. And like I said, Nazi dad's like, you ain't listening to that shit. If it came on the radio and it was like the edited version, he was like, okay. But I think low-key my dad thought it was dope because I caught him listening to it and shit a couple times. But it was definitely, especially where society was at that time, it was not appropriate for kids to hear a lot of the shit Eminem was saying about killing his mom and killing his ex-wife and just the crazy shit that he'd throw out there, especially like if you had the unedited version. It was like, holy shit, what is this? But the neighbor lady and my mom, they think I was stupid, but I know what the fuck was going on. They'd go over there and they'd smoke a little weed together or whatever. But this lady was cool as fuck. And she took one of my tapes. I had a blank tape, and she recorded the whole Eminem Show onto that tape for me. And I can remember listening to that shit for hours. And when I'd get off the bus and stuff before Dad got home from work, I'd be blasting that shit full blast in the house, singing along, hitting every lyric, saying all the cuss words and everything, right? But it was also around that time. YouTube was just starting to become a little bit bigger. And there was all these other sites, eBombs World and miniclip.com, and like I can't remember all like the little like sites you could go to watch like flash videos and you know, small video clips and stuff like that. But I saw an interview with Eminem where they were talking about lyricism and how like it's underrated and a lot of like the best lyricists don't get airtime or they're not mainstream and stuff. And something about that and like just about that conversation, I thought that was just the coolest shit ever, right? So then I was like, oh, Eminem's the best because his lyricism's crazy. Like he says shit that other guys don't say, and he can say things that mean 2 or 3 different things at once, and like it really makes you think, right? So I got obsessed with this shit. So fast forward to when the reactors pop up. I'm talking like No Life Shack, Stevie Knight. I know I'm like Stevie Knight. Sorry, I know I'm naming a bunch of like the top guys, but like I've been rocking with those dudes since like 2016, 2017, 2018 when they first got started. You know, they're at like 500, 1,000 subs. And it was fucking entertaining. I'm watching these guys and I can't stop. Like I'm watching No Life Shack react to, and it wasn't just Eminem stuff, but like that was the doorway for me because I connected with it the most as a kid. You know, it's not about race, but you know, I was a young white kid watching a fucking white dude fucking dominate, right? So he was my idol. You know, I'm a stan. I'm a super stan. I'll throw it out there. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a fan of all the other hip hop artists and the crazy wordsmiths, and you know, there's so many of them. It's hard to touch on all of them. But that's why I was like, I want to do that. I've been watching these guys for a couple years with the intent of making my own channel, and I bought the webcam and the mic and all the stuff. Especially like during COVID time, there's a lot of downtime. I wasn't working. My wife was extremely sick, and going through a lot of recovery and stuff. And I just had a lot of downtime, and I never jumped on this, and I wish I would have a long time ago because I feel like I'm a little behind the curve. I mean, YouTube's super saturated. There's millions of people with YouTube accounts making content and stuff. But, I mean, you could pick any niche and stand out. So, and it's not really even about that for me. Like I mentioned I think I mentioned it in the beginning of this. Maybe it was just a thought in my head. But I talk to myself all the time. I'm probably fucking psychotic. I don't know. But it's a lot. Like, it's unhealthy. So I talk to myself for literally hours a day. I spend a lot of time alone. I'm a full-time student right now. So I was like, you know what? I need to do this. I need to jump on here. I need to put in a little extra time, figure out how to do some editing, and get on here and make some content. I love to talk. I wouldn't say I know a lot about one particular thing. There's a few things that I would say I got a good knowledge about. But I know a lot about a lot of things. Or a little about a lot of things. I think that's what I meant to say. My knowledge base and like topics and shit that I'm interested in is very broad. So I'm thinking I want to take this in a reaction direction for now, and I'll literally react to anything. I'm a big music buff. I love music. I love pop culture. I love hip hop. I'm a guitar fanatic. I also thought that I was going to be a rock star when I was a kid. I was pretty obsessive about the guitar for many years. I have, I think, 6 or 7 guitars right now. I haven't been playing as much as I should be. Been kicking myself for that too. I'm terrible with time management. So, you know, if anybody is watching this and you relate to anything I'm saying right now, fucking drop a comment, give me a like. Let's fucking talk about it. You're not alone. I know I'm not alone. I'm trying to connect with people. I want to put out some dope content. So if anything I've said sparks any interest in you and you want to see something on something, if you want to see me make a video talking about anything I've touched on, there's just so much, and I'm trying not to be long-winded right now, which is why I said I was going to do like a 2 or maybe 3-part intro video, because there's just so much shit. So it's like, do I do that and put it all on here? Should I make a podcast and talk about shit there too? Again, it's all up in the air. I'm trying to figure it out. But for now, I'm going to try to stick to reaction stuff, I think. Kind of figure out how to get into that lane. This is very foreign to me, so I'm feeling pretty comfortable talking to no one right now. So I'm cool with that. I just it's going to take some practice, I think, for me to be more concise and direct with my thoughts and stuff, because I know I'm jumping around right now. But yeah. So what was I gonna say? I'll be losing my track of thought and everything. Um, oh, okay. A little bit more about me. Let's wrap up just the introduction about me, at least. I'm a full-time student right now. I'm using my GI Bill from when I was in the service. I'm going to school to be a computer programmer. So the program that I initially jumped into is like web development, full stack. I'm learning JavaScript, some Java, some Python, some SQL, HTML, CSS, all that stuff. Anything that's web related. I'm actually finishing up the program right now. The last module on my program is data science using Python, and I fucking hate that shit. So check that off the list. I don't want to be doing none of that shit. So I'm thinking for my bachelor program, I'm gonna switch direction, and I'm gonna do a different type of programming. But so there's that. I also like to build computers. If my cam wasn't fixed in a certain spot and I didn't have this weird background effect on to block out how ugly the room is that I'm sitting in, I would show you my rig. I'm actually recording all this using a rig that I built about 10 years ago. It was like 6 months before I joined the Navy, actually, and then it sat in a storage unit for 10 years, and I fired it up, and it fucking runs like a champ. It was a little slow, so I swapped out the HDD for a solid state drive, put a fresh copy of Windows on there, and this bitch is running smooth. I can run a lot of games and stuff on it that are newer too, so that's cool. But yeah, like I said, ton of shit that I'm interested in, tons of things that I've done in my life, tons of things that I'm good at. So if anybody's interested, if you want to hear more about any one particular thing, I'm going to make probably a part 2 of this. I'm going to run this back and see what I checked off the list, and then maybe kind of pull out some topics that I need to touch on. I think I'm a pretty interesting dude. Hopefully you think I'm an interesting dude. But yeah, I can talk about all kinds of different shit all the time. I got a ton of hobbies. I think that's my problem. I try to do too much different shit all at once. So yeah, this is the next thing that I'm trying to do now. So I know there's going to be a huge fucking learning curve because I literally know nothing. I don't know what software to use to edit videos. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. So hopefully that was a decent intro. I know, like I said, I know I jump around a lot, so maybe it would be smart for me to at least do like a bulleted list of topics I want to hit, and try not to be long-winded, because I think we're at about 25-ish minutes right now, and I need to cut this short so that I'm not doing too much in one video. So yeah, if you fuck with anything I said, if you're interested, if you like to hear me ramble, if you think that it's hilarious that I can't keep my thoughts focused, if you like my beard, like literally anything, give me a comment, a subscribe, a fucking thumbs up. Like, do they still even have thumbs down? Haters can hate too. I don't give a fuck. Give me some engagement. Yeah, interact. Like I said, once I get the social media up and running, I will post that so we can connect on IG, and maybe in the future Facebook. I don't really use Facebook, so. But yeah, for all my vets out there, keep strong. You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to, hit me up. For everybody else, I mean, same thing. I gotta give my boys and the service members a shout out though. But yeah, everybody else, if you want to hit me up, drop some comments, drop some likes. Let me know where you're from, what you're interested in. We'll see if we can make some content. I'm still brainstorming different topics and shit that I can touch on, stuff I can make videos on, literally anything. I like to game too, so anybody that likes to play League, it's the most toxic game I've ever played in my life, but I fucking love it. So drop your name in there. We'll link up. You're probably better than me, but hey, that's all right. So yeah, drop me some comments, some likes. Please subscribe. I wanna see that I'm getting some engagement. So take it easy, y'all. Stay up, stay positive, spread the good vibes, and I'll see you in the next one.